Hope Roski with business, arts, events, and more cool stuff. And we're talking real estate today. So I have with me today Joe Kutka with Keller Williams. Welcome, Joe.
Thank you. It's good to be here.
I'm so glad you are here. You know, talking real estate, it seems to be the big thing that's trending right now because we're still finding, obviously, it's a bit more of a seller's market still. I can take a look at the experience of with my mom's house within basically 24 to 48 hours gone.
Sure,
It's just, it's under contract and
and
gone.
And everything had 10 offers on it.
Right, exactly. I mean, sometimes you don't even get a chance to put in an offer because somebody's already one step ahead of you.
Sure.
And that's the way it seems like it's still going today.
Yeah.
Are we going to see any slowdown, do you think, or do you feel like we're still riding on this trend?
I think what we're going to continue to see is we're going to continue to see people coming from out of the area and selling their home where they are, and coming into Fresno and buying what I would consider a higher value or a higher priced product for cash.
Okay, so with that being said, where are we seeing these people coming from? I mean, a lot of times we hear people from Fresno wanting to retire to the coast. So what type of people are coming and relocating here to Fresno?
Well, this one listing that I have right now that I came here to talk about, I've had people from San Jose, I've had people from Sacramento, I've had people from LA County. They're just tired. They're getting ready to move out of the hustle and bustle of where they are, and so they're wanting to come here and kind of slow things down.
And so that's driving up our prices a bit too.
A little bit.
Do you find that because of the pandemic and more people working from home, it doesn't matter if that they're living in LA anymore, and that's why we're seeing?
I think that's another big reason. I have a bunch of friends that work in IT for the community hospital network, and during the pandemic, they all worked from home, and their productivity went through the roof because they didn't have people leaning over the side of their cube and interrupting their workflow.
So more productive, and now people, I think, are enjoying that so they can live wherever they want. And you're right. Now, cost of living here has just been very easy and easy to get around, but now we're going to start seeing a little bit more of an influx. So we in the Valley need to get ready for that. So, I mean, which is good for our economy. We have to look at that. So, but in order for people to even set foot to buy a home, they have to get pre-qualified. There are all sorts of options for people to get pre-qualified, but tell me the importance of that whole process.
Well, the worst thing that can happen if you would decide to take somebody out and they're not pre-qualified is that the house that they always fall in love with is out of their price range, and then everything that's in their price range they compare to that house that they wanted, that they couldn't afford. So everything else becomes a three-legged dog.
Right.
Instead of, we can always find a great house in whatever price range a buyer qualifies.
So the first step really before they even come to see you is to go to the mortgage company, get a pre-qual letter, correct? And so then like what price range you can be viewing.
Yeah, I usually start a conversation and I have a couple lenders, probably about 3 or 4 lenders and I give my potential buyer a list of names, and I say, call them, interview them. Because some lenders that I work with, they're 100 miles an hour with their hair on fire. And then there's other lenders that I work with that are more laid back. So you pick the one that you want to work with from people that I know that are really good at what they do.
That's true, because this is an investment of a lifetime. It's just not like I'm going to go out and, oh, this is a real pretty shirt. No, you're going to be in this for hopefully a long time. So tell me a little bit about the property. There's one that you said that you wanted to show us today, and I'd love to take a look at it.
It's fantastic. It's off of Bullard and Locan. The address is 2968 Browning Avenue in Clovis, 93611. When you look at it from the front, my client bought the house in 2004, and they redid all the landscaping. He was working for a major concrete contractor at the time, so all of the walkways and including the porch are all stamped and stained concrete.
You can tell that this home truly has outstanding curb appeal.
Right.
They did a great job with that.
And then they carried the same colors into the backyard where they, it's all, again, they floated the existing porch and they stained the concrete. There's a couple seating areas that have raised seating that's part of the concrete patio. It really is fantastic.
Well, it's interesting too because many homes today have very tiny backyards. This one seems to have some depth to it.
The lot is 8710.
Wow, that's great. That's wonderful. Oh, I see water feature here. What do we have?
Oh, it's fantastic. There's a flowing river that feeds into that pond. Actually, it's a soaking pool. There are steps that lead down into the soaking pool, and there's rocks submerged at different levels. So if you just wanted to hang your feet over the edge, you could do that. If you actually wanted to get in, you can get in and sit and have a cocktail or visit with friends or whatever you decided that you wanted to do.
That's my kind of vibe right there. Let's move to the interior of the home. Tell me a little bit about what's going on here.
When you walk through the front door, that's the first room on the right-hand side, and that's the formal dining room. It has a table with 8 chairs around it, and there's plenty of room to walk through the space. There actually is quite a bit of furniture in there. There's a hutch and a bachelor's chest and a bookshelf in there. But it's a really great space.
Now, those are hardwoods, correct, on the floor? Or
Actually, no.
Are they a laminate or are they a vinyl plank?
It's a luxury vinyl.
Aha, yes. That's becoming popular. And I tell you what, it's really hard to tell the difference the way they're making them today, but they're much easier to keep clean.
Oh, yes, they are.
So I just wanted to ask you too, people are particular about colors, and they'll walk into a house and they'll say, oh, this is just... How much is it to, like, if you wanted to repaint something? Like, let's say you like the room, but you're not keen on a color. I mean, are you talking a big, expensive job to do, or
well,
pretty
and
reasonable?
it depends on if you want to do it yourself or you want to have somebody come through. The house is actually 2,287 square feet.
That's
so
great
it would
size.
probably cost, if you had somebody come through, somewhere between $5,000 and $10,000 to paint the interior. But if you wanted to take it one room at a time, because the current owner, they actually did all the paintwork themselves.
Oh, that's wonderful. Now let's take a look. I think the kitchen is the one that's coming up next. And it looks like it has a great island right there and a place where people can hang out. Tell me a little bit about the kitchen.
It's got a gas stove. The kitchen island actually has 4 bar stools that are on the, I guess that would be the east side of the room, and the island is probably about 12 foot.
That's a large island.
It really is.
So obviously it's seating 4 comfortably, but it looks like you could pull up a couple more there too. That's
You
great.
certainly can.
That's wonderful. And which is the next room that we have to take a look at here?
Oh, that's the living room. They're adjoining. It's just a big open space. So you walk down. Actually, you can see that's going towards the living quarters. But on the left-hand side of the image, that's coming in through the front door. So that's the sofa and chairs, the open dining or open kitchen, and the informal dining.
So it gives you a nice open great room concept.
Oh, it's fantastic.
And people are kind of looking for that, but it also looks like there's maybe some separation, but you have that view, which is nice. So you can entertain, you could be in the kitchen, and you could still kind of look out and see what's going on, which is wonderful. And so we're back again here, and so as we looked at the pictures, we saw some really great shots. And are any of the rooms like office space, or are there options for that, or can some of the bedrooms, can you flip it around to where if you'd want?
When you walked in the front door, as I said, the first room on the right is the formal dining area, but on the left-hand side is a den that could be. When the kids were small, that was their video game room.
So you can make that room like the movie theater room, whatever room you'd want it to be, an office, which is great.
Certainly.
And it's nice to have that flexibility. So as you're moving through and going through like the selling process, What are some of the things that, as you go through the transition of like inspection, tell me a little bit about that, because, we just talk about buying a home but then there are a lot of little things that come up in between. So walk us through that a little bit.
Well, usually if I'm working with a buyer and they are set on a property and they write an offer and the offer gets accepted, there are a few major areas that I really like to be sure that we cover. We don't know ever if there has ever been a big tree in the yard, so there could be root intrusion in the sewer line. I always recommend that we do a sewer line inspection, that we do a pest inspection, that we do a whole house inspection, and that we get the roof inspected and certified. Because that roof and that sewer, if there is an issue that you don't know about, those things could be a really costly repair.
And so let's say a roofer comes out and does work, but it's not certified. What's the difference in the two? So I know that there could be cost, but is there like a huge difference or not?
Well, usually when the roofing contractor comes out, they'll do they do an inspection. And they'll make an itemized list of things that need to be repaired.
Right.
And then after they effect those repairs, essentially what they do is they say, now that we've checked the roof and we've deemed that the roof isn't going to leak, we'll give you a 2-year guarantee on our work.
So that's good to make that investment so a buyer has that. And
Sure.
So in your areas, and we talked about a little bit, are you concentrated in a certain place? You're kind of all over the board, which is wonderful because look, there's flexible. Some people kind of have their little niche areas where they like to be, but it seems as if you can venture out a little bit. Tell us about some of the places where you've had your buyers purchase and where you've sold homes.
I've sold homes in Madera. I've sold homes in Fresno, in Clovis, in Farmersville. I'm really kind of focusing on Clovis a little bit right now because that's where I have my biggest presence at the moment.
Okay.
And there really are a lot of great homes in that area.
Well, Clovis just in general is booming and developing. And a lot of people are looking from Fresno to move to Clovis a little bit further out too. One of the things in real estate too that I wanted to touch base with you about are schools, especially working with families. When a family comes to talk to you, what is one of the first thing they say when they come and say, I'm looking for what?
That's most of the time when they're looking at their purchasing a home, price is a paramount issue.
Okay.
And Clovis Unified, I'm not sure if they still have this policy, but if you're an employee somewhere in Clovis and you live in Fresno, that your children can actually attend Clovis Unified schools.
So even if you are a Clovis Unified employee, you can still live in the Fresno area. Well, and that's great, and that gives flexibility. And the fact is that you've diversified yourself into a whole bunch of different areas, which is wonderful.
And Sanger, I think they just built a new junior high, and they're building another high school. Clovis Unified is building right in that same area because 93727 is just exploding. There's new construction on every street corner in that area.
So as we wrap it up, let's talk new construction. Many of these people have, what you call like somebody who will host or hostess a development, but you can also take new home buyers or people who are looking for a home in there. What's the advantage of buying a new home versus a home that's already been in existence for a few years?
Well, when you're purchasing a new home, oftentimes because they're building a subdivision that's going to have 100+ homes, they get you connected with their lender, and their lender is giving a lesser interest rate because they're essentially lending on all 100 homes that are in that area. So they kind of get a break on their interest rates.
That's good for viewers to know that information.
Right.
Absolutely.
And if you use their preferred lender, oftentimes they'll give you the new builder will give you a certain dollar figure in upgrades because they have that really great relationship with their lender.
Well, I think that's wonderful that buyers have that option. And I appreciate you coming on the show and sharing all of your knowledge with us. Viewers, This is Joe Kutka. He is with Keller Williams. And tell people how they can find you. What is your email and what's your contact info?
My email is jkfr@kw.com, and my phone number is 559-289-5362. Shoot me an email and let me know what you're interested, or give me a call or send me a text message at the number that I just mentioned, and I'll get back to you as soon as I can, and we'll have a conversation, figure out what you're looking for, and see how I can help.
That's great. Joe Kutka, thank you so much for coming on the show. We hope you can come back again.
You bet. Thanks for having me.
All right, this is Hope Roski, and we'll be right back with you.